If you want these horror stories to continue, please subscribe now and don't forget to like. Deep beyond the northern forests, there was a region no map dared to name. Locals called it Hollow Pine Valley, a place where radios failed and compasses spun uselessly. Generations whispered the same warning: never follow the howls. When wildlife researchers Elias Crow and Nora Whitman arrived to study disappearing animals, the forest greeted them with unnatural silence. No birds, no insects, only wind and something breathing between the trees. On the first night, the howling began. It wasn't loud, yet it pierced the mind, crawling under the skin. Elias recorded the sound, but when he played it back, the audio distorted into whispers. Nora noticed claw marks on trees. Too high, too deep. Wolves, yes, but larger, smarter, watching. The campfire flickered, though there was no wind, and the darkness pressed closer than it should. They found the village ruins the next morning. Burned houses, broken stone charms hanging from door frames. In the center stood an old totem carved with wolf faces, each one twisted in pain. A journal lay beneath it, its pages brittle. It spoke of a pact made long ago. Hunters begging the forest for protection, offering blood in exchange. The wolves came, but never left. That night, Elias saw glowing eyes between the trees, too many to count. The wolves didn't attack. They circled, herded. Nora realized something horrifying. They were being guided. Every path they took led them deeper into the valley. The forest rearranged itself, trails looping back unnaturally. Panic set in. The howls grew closer, layered with human-like cries beneath them. A storm rolled in without warning. Rain fell upward at times, defying gravity. One wolf stepped into the firelight. It was massive, its fur dark as ash, but its eyes held awareness, memory, regret. Elias raised his rifle. The wolf spoke, not with words, but with images burned into his mind. Villagers, blood rituals, bodies torn apart under a red moon. Nora was bitten during the escape. Not deep, but enough. She insisted it was nothing. Yet her reflection began lagging behind her movements. Her heartbeat slowed. She could hear the forest thinking. Elias noticed her pupils shifting shape at night. The curse was not a disease. It was an inheritance. The wolves were once human, and they were recruiting. They reached an underground stone chamber beneath the valley. Bones lined the walls, arranged in circles. In the center lay the Alpha, half man, half wolf, bound by chains carved with ancient symbols. It opened its eyes and smiled. The curse needed caretakers, witnesses, bloodlines. The wolves were guardians of a sin that refused to stay. Buried, the pack attacked. When Elias tried to destroy the totems, time fractured. He saw past and future overlapping, new researchers arriving, new victims joining the forest. Nora stood among the wolves now, her voice calm, empty. "The valley must be fed," she said, "or it will spread." Elias escaped alone at dawn. The forest let him go. Authorities never believed his story. But weeks later, reports emerged. Wolves, seen far beyond the valley, smarter, organized, watching. Towns from tree lines. Elias realized the truth too late. The curse was never contained. It was waiting. On quiet nights, Elias still hears the howls, closer every time. In his dreams, he runs on 4 legs through endless trees. And somewhere in Hollow Pine Valley, the wolves lift their heads to the moon, knowing one day, soon, he will return. Elias tried to live a normal life, but the forest had followed him. Every mirror reflected his face a second too late. Dogs growled when he passed. At night, he woke with mud under his fingernails and pine needles in his hair, as if his body had gone somewhere without him. He stopped recording his dreams after realizing they weren't dreams at all. They were memories being planted. News reports began to surface from distant regions. Livestock torn apart with surgical precision. Hunters found frozen in fear with no visible wounds. The patterns matched Hollow Pine Valley. Elias understood the curse had learned how to travel through witnesses, through survivors, through him. The howls now came even in crowded cities, echoing between buildings where no forest should exist. One evening, Elias found an old symbol carved into his apartment door. The same mark from the stone chamber. He hadn't carved it. Inside his head, a calm voice whispered instructions, not threats. Guide them. Prepare the ground. His resistance weakened as his senses sharpened. He could smell rain hours before it fell. He could hear heartbeats through walls. Nora appeared to him in a dream, unchanged, yet hollow. She told him the truth. The Alpha was only a vessel. The curse itself was older than language, bound to human guilt and broken promises. Wolves were its chosen shape because they remembered packs, loyalty, and hunger. Elias was being shaped into something new, not an alpha, but a bridge. He returned to Hollow Pine Valley against his will. The forest opened for him like a mouth, recognizing familiar prey. The ruins had shifted. New totems stood where old ones had burned. The wolves waited in silence, forming a circle. None attacked. They bowed their heads. Elias felt the ground pulse beneath his feet like a heart waking up. The Alpha was gone. Its chains lay broken, rusted, as if centuries had passed overnight. In its place stood a stone altar cracked down the center. Elias touched it and saw flashes of the future. Towns swallowed by trees, highways turning into hunting paths, people listening to howls they could no longer ignore. The curse was evolving. Elias tried to destroy the valley one last time. Fire, explosives, anything. But the forest absorbed everything. Flames died without smoke. Sounds vanished mid-echo. The wolves watched patiently, knowing effort itself fed the curse. Exhausted, Elias collapsed. The forest did not kill him. It never had. When he awoke, his heartbeat no longer matched his chest. It matched the valley. He understood then. The curse did not want domination. It wanted continuity. Witnesses who would carry the story forward, even if no one believed it. Elias felt the final pieces lock into place. He left the valley again at dawn. This time, no fear followed him, only purpose. Wherever he walked, forests grew thicker. Animals watched roads instead of crossing them. People began dreaming of wolves they had never seen. Elias stopped resisting the pull and started listening. Far away, under a rising moon, the howls multiplied, not louder, but closer. The curse had learned patience, and Elias, no longer fully human, smiled for the first time since Hollow Pine Valley, knowing the world would soon remember what it had tried so hard to forget. The end.